All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the one and only Wrestling Otaku channel. Of course, your personification of excellence in YouTube and YWC. We're the best reviews wrestling and your three-time YWC channel of the year. And I'm back here. It is now officially Sunday, February the 9th of 2025. It is Super Bowl Sunday. So for those of you who will be watching the Super Bowl, enjoying it, what have you, hope it is somewhat enjoyable, even if the outcome may be predictable. We'll see what happens. It's the Chiefs and Eagles. And sadly, I will not get to watch said Super Bowl because I do have to work till late tonight. Maybe I catch the back end of it. It is what it is on that. I wasn't particularly too interested in it anyway because it's a rematch from 2 years ago, so it's whatever. Not particularly keen on either team, although I do hope the Chiefs lose because I'm tired of seeing them win every goddamn year. That's just me. But anyway, so I want to do this video because I want to talk about something, a topic of wrestling news story, big wrestling news story that emerged a few days ago. And I made a post about this, and I figured I'd go ahead and do a video about this because this is a pretty big topic and it's pretty significant to things that I've covered in the past and things I've talked about in the past. So, WWE has recently taken to doing some more of their annual budget cuts of talent. Just a few days ago, the story broke, I believe Friday, right around the time that SmackDown started. So about 2 days ago, about 2 days or so ago, WWE released 6 names, and then yesterday, the day before, they released 4 more, and rounded up to a total of 10. So WWE in the last 3 days, I think it might have been Thursday or could have been going into Friday, but WWE has released 10 names, 10 talents, in the last 3 days. So I want to talk about the names. I want to get my thoughts on this, get my thoughts on the names, and so on and so forth, and where I think they go from here. So it was reported from multiple sources that on Thursday or Friday, WWE released 6, the initial 6. And those initial 6 were the 2 members of Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, Paul Ellering, Blair Davenport, also known as B. Priestley. She was known as B. Priestley outside of WWE. Cedric Alexander, and Sonya Deville. Those are the 6 names that were first announced, that were first named, that were released by WWE. And then the following day, 4 more names were added to the list. The team of the Good Brothers, that being Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, Isla Dawn, and Giovanni Vinci. 10 names. 10 names so far have been confirmed to have been released by WWE. Now, my initial thoughts are, it's like, are we really surprised? I mean, WWE does this every year. They've been doing this every year for 5 years now? Ever since the pandemic. Hell, even before the pandemic. But I think it was like the pandemic where it really kind of started to get big, where they had these, quote, Black Wednesdays or Black Thursdays where WWE would release a mass of talent all at the same time, and so on and so forth. They've been doing this for years. And now that they're, owned by Endeavor, and they've got, obviously, the merger with UFC, now they're known as, collectively as TKO. Now, of course, they're doing just as many budget cuts as they were previously, even under the Vince McMahon administration. So it's no surprise to me personally, and it shouldn't be any surprise to anybody else. The only remark I have is that I find it funny how people nowadays think that every single name, every single talent that is getting released or is, quote, requesting, being asked to be released by AEW, they think that WWE is just going to swoop in and take every single person from AEW, like it's going to be a mass exodus of AEW. It's like, get real. And WWE won't even hold on to their own names. Well, so what makes you think they're just going to take all of AEW's talent? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're going to go to WWE. They're going to be not used. They're going to rot in NXT for however many years, or they're going to bring them up to the main roster and do nothing, and then they're going to release, and then they're going to get released. Case in point, like what happened here. But just thought I'd throw that in there. But I just find it funny. WWE. People will talk about how WWE's going to sign this person. They're going to sign that person. They're going to sign Ricky Starks. They're going to sign They're going to sign Wardlow. They're going to sign Malachi Black. They're going to sign everybody who AEW releases. Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, sure thing. But anyway, so getting back to my point here. So 10 names, the 10 talents that were released by WWE. I made it through the list. So let me just kind of go through them one by one and think, and just kind of, I guess, give my brief thoughts. Like, a lot of these names I'm not really surprised because WWE wasn't really doing anything with them. Like, certain ones, According to the reports, it came as a surprise to them because they were somewhat being used, or they were promised that they were going to be used going forward, but they never were, like not to the capacity that they were promised. And some names they just weren't doing anything with. So it's one of those kind of mixed bags. In regards to why, in the case of Sonya Deville, she wasn't released. Her contract expired, and WWE didn't pick up the option to renew her, and I guess she didn't re-sign with them. And so Sonya Deville is officially a free agent. And I think everybody else was outright released by WWE. So it's one of those things. I just thought I'd bring that up since it was in the report. Now let me just kind of go through the names and who I believe, or where I believe these individuals go from here. Now, in regards to the 10 names, these talents, the 10 names here, the 10 talents that WWE released, I think 4, maybe 5 could very quickly, very easily be picked up by AEW. Like I just get this feeling. I'm going to tell you why in a second. But I think of the 10 names, I think 4, potentially I'll add 5 of them. I think there's a very good chance, there's a very strong, real chance that they will end up with AEW. Let me go through those names. The Good Brothers, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson. I think they could very easily. I could easily see them being picked up by AEW. They've got ties to AEW. Hell, they're in AEW before, albeit briefly, but they've had connections. They've had ties with AEW before. So, they were in TNA before. They were Ring of Honor. I think they were briefly in Ring of Honor for a time. Obviously, the most notoriety they got was as part of New Japan, as part of the Bullet Club. That's where they became part of the Bullet Club and so on and so forth. And they got ties with the Young Bucks, ties with Kenny Omega. And so that's kind of where they made their name. And then they went to other places. They went to TNA, like I mentioned before, Impact Wrestling. They had a stint in Ring of Honor. They showed up. They made appearances in AEW. I don't think they were officially signed to AEW, but they made appearances there. And then, of course, they came to WWE along with AJ Styles and Nakamura back in 2017. Since then, they've kind of been in and out of WWE. You haven't really seen a whole lot of them, and then they recently came back, and so they really haven't been using them. So Gallows and Anderson, I could very easily see get picked up by AEW. Like I said, they've got ties there. And AEW, and I've mentioned this before, AEW does need tag teams. I've gone on record as saying AEW needs to revamp their tag team division. And who better to have than the Good Brothers, a team like Gallows and Anderson, who've got history together, have got a long history together, dating back for over a decade and a half. So I could very easily, Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers, would be such a good pickup for AEW. They would fit, they would plug right into that tag division. Right? I could see them feuding with the likes of FTR, the likes of the Undisputed Kingdom, the likes of, or the Undisputed, whatever they're calling it, Undisputed Era, Undisputed Kingdom. I can see them fitting right into the tag division, feuding with teams like FTR, feuding with the Death Riders, feuding with Shane Taylor Promotions, feuding with Top Flight, and any other number of tag teams that are in AEW currently. And like I said, AEW does need to revamp. They need to add to their tag team, to the tag team division. Gallows and Anderson would fit right in there. Some of the other ones. Another name I would think would fit like a glove would be Bea Priestley, or Blair Davenport, as she was known as in NXT and WWE, because she was there before. Okay, Bea Priestley, for those of you who don't know, Bea Priestley was one of the original women's wrestlers who was in AEW. She was in AEW during their first year. So I could easily see them picking her up again. Like, she's very young. Like, she's only, 28, I think they said. So she's very young talent, and she's got potential. She's got, she's got the ability. She's got the makes to be something really good in AEW should they decide to take a run on her. And I think that they will. I think Tony Khan will take a run on her because, much like with the tag division, I think AEW needs to add to their women's division as well. And the fourth name, I'll say Isla Dawn. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Isla Dawn. I haven't seen a whole lot of her outside of her NXT stuff, but based on what I have seen of her, I think she is a potential talent. She does have that potential as well, and I think Tony Khan, I don't think it would necessarily hurt for Tony Khan to at least take a look and at least consider her for AEW for that women's division. If not AEW, then at least Ring of Honor. They can bring her into Ring of Honor, have her come up the ranks, and then move her over to the main roster, or move her over to AEW when she's ready. So I think those are 4 names easily that could be added to AEW if Tony Khan wants to pick them up, which I think there's going to be a great deal of interest by AEW and by Tony Khan for him to get those names. Now, the 5th name I mentioned is Cedric Alexander. The reason being is that I think a lot of people see Cedric Alexander as a potential the fourth man to the Hurt Syndicate. Of course, Bobby Lashley faction, Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin. If you remember, Cedric Alexander was part of the original Hurt business in WWE, and now they've migrated over to AEW. And there's already a report, and I've heard this in certain videos from certain content, wrestling content creators on here, courtesy of WrestleMania and others, that there is a rumor, there's reports that the Hurt Syndicate has already gone to AEW, to Tony Khan, and requested that he brings in Cedric Alexander. So I think there's going to be interest there. Now, I don't think necessarily Cedric Alexander should be brought in just because of that. But I do think Cedric Alexander does have potential, and I think he's worth at least a look. I think he's worth at least a look. So those are the 5 names that I think could be very good pickups for AEW, and I think that will have garner interest from AEW and Tony Khan. And I think those names will be targets for Tony Khan and AEW to pick up once their 90-day or 30-day or whatever no-compete clause is up. Because every time WWE releases talent, they've got a 90-day no-compete clause. So they can't do anything until like 3 months. So we'll see what happens in 3 months. As for the other 5, Akam and Razor, Authors of Pain, I could potentially, it's a kind of like I'm on the fence about the Authors of Pain. I think they're a decent tag team. I just don't think they've got enough of a strong report. I don't think they've got enough of a strong record in terms of a tag team, in terms of like what they do wrestling-wise, talent-wise. I don't know. Again, I'm kind of on the fence about that. I could see Tony Khan maybe giving them a look, maybe giving them a chance, a shot, perhaps. Because, again, I mentioned before, I literally just mentioned, AEW does need tag teams. But I don't know if he's going to take a chance on Authors of Pain, because there was another report that the reason why AOP was released from WWE is because there was backstage heat regarding them. And I don't know if Tony Khan is going to take a chance at that, have another potential, backstage incident, have a potential problem, problem wrestler or problem wrestlers or problem team on his roster. So I don't know if he's necessarily going to take a chance at. I don't know if he's necessarily going to take a run at that. So we'll have to wait and see in regards to that. So I'm on the fence about Authors of Pain. Paul Ellering, I don't think so. I mean, he's 71, like he's a manager, so I don't really see AEW doing anything with that. I don't really see anybody doing anything with Paul Ellering. That's just me. He's like, Hall of Fame. Like, I think he's like a Hall of Famer or something like that. So I don't really see him doing anything more in the wrestling if WWE doesn't use him. Let's see who else. Sonya Deville. I don't really see Authors of Pain, Paul Ellering. Sonya Deville, I don't really see any potential Sonya Deville. I mean, she's not bad, she's not terrible, but I think she's just so acclimated to the WWE system. I think she's like just a WWE product, and as such, I don't know if she would really particularly survive or thrive outside of WWE. So she's kind of one that I don't really see going anywhere outside of WWE. Like, maybe another smaller promotion takes a run at her, maybe takes a look at her, but I don't see her being in AEW. Like, AEW already has Sonya Deville in the form of Marina Shafir, so I don't really see them, taking a look at Sonya Deville. And then the final one, Giovanni Vinci. He's got potential. Like, he's a bit rough. Like, he's a bit green in areas. I think he's got potential. Like, he's had some decent outings. I think, obviously, his claim to fame, if you will, he was part of Imperium. In NXT, he was more of a tag wrestler. Then they brought him to the main roster. They tried to repackage him. They tried to give him a singles run as Giovanni Vinci, and that didn't really do it. Like, he didn't really go anywhere from there. So again, he's got potential, but I don't see Tony Khan reaching out to make a play for a guy like Giovanni Vinci. I think maybe he goes to another promotion like maybe a TNA, Impact Wrestling, and maybe establishes himself there as a singles guy. Maybe he goes to MLW, maybe NWA, but I just don't see him being in AEW. That's just me. So, so that's pretty much all I got to say for that. So those are the 10 names, and those are my thoughts as to where I think they should go. I think 4 or 5 of them very easily could be in AEW, and I think Tony Khan will make a run at those guys. The other 5, we'll see what happens with them. I don't really see much of a future for them outside of WWE. Well, I mean, 1 or 2 of them, I think, maybe. Like I said, Giovanni Vinci could very well have a career down the line. But and Akam and Razor possibly, too. But yeah, but regardless of where they go, you wish them the best of luck, with what they do. It's not their fault. Well, I mean, I guess in the case of Akam and Razor, maybe it is, but, WWE doing their annual budget cuts, it is what it is. So you hope these guys, you hope they find jobs. You hope they will continue to flourish and find success in whatever it is they do. So So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with those names. We'll see what happens going forward. But anyway, that's pretty much my thoughts on it, and that's pretty much all I got to say for this video. So that's going to be it for my thoughts on the 10 names recently released from WWE. Those are my thoughts on the budget cuts that WWE has started, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be more. There's more than likely going to be more. I guarantee you by the end of the year, we're going to see more names cut from WWE's roster by the end of the year. I guarantee you. So this is not the end. But as for these 10 names for the official WWE budget cuts of 2025, that's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on that. That's my thoughts on the story. And that's pretty much going to do it for this video. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, give me your thoughts on anything I talked about here. And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Appreciate all the support I can get. With that being said, it's pretty much going to do it, man. So thank you for watching this. I got some more content coming your way, but I'm going to head on in here, and we'll see what happens later on tonight and throughout the week. So, or going into the next week, I should say. But anyway, that's all I got to say for this. Thank you for watching. Till next time, Resto Taco. I'm out for now. See you guys later. Peace.